Have you ever felt completely alone while trying to chase your dreams? Like the world is moving forward, but you're stuck, and no one seems to notice your struggle? It's not just the small doubts, it's the heavy, suffocating feeling that nobody believes in you, nobody understands you, and nobody is willing to stand by your side. Maybe you've experienced it at work. You propose an idea, and it's ignored or dismissed. You take initiative, but people question your ability. You feel invisible, or worse, ridiculed. And it's exhausting because the harder you try to prove yourself, the more resistance you seem to face. Or perhaps it's in your personal life. You dream of doing something extraordinary, but your friends, family, or peers don't support you. Their doubts echo in your mind. Their silence feels like a wall you can't break. You begin questioning yourself, am I really capable? Is this even worth it? Maybe I should just give up. And in those moments, the loneliness isn't just external, it becomes internal. You start battling your own fears, your own insecurities, and the self-doubt that creeps in when there's no one cheering for you. It's a deep, gnawing feeling, the kind that keeps you awake at night, wondering why life seems so unfair. But here's the thing, this feeling, as heavy as it is also a sign. A sign that you are on a path that requires courage, self-belief, and inner strength. You are being tested, not to punish you, but to prepare you for a level of success that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. Because here's a truth most people never realize, real progress, the kind that lasts, isn't fueled by applause or encouragement from others. It's fueled by your own certainty, your own conviction, your unwavering belief in yourself even when no one else does. And today, you're going to discover how to tap into that power. How to move forward, how to get ahead, even when the world around you doubts you. Even when it feels like you're walking alone. Because the support you need most comes from within. It's important to understand from the very beginning, what you're feeling right now is not your fault. Feeling alone, unsupported, or misunderstood is not a reflection of your worth or ability. Life, in many ways, simply didn't teach you how to navigate paths that require self-reliance. Society conditions us to seek validation, to look for approval, and to rely on the encouragement of others to feel confident. So when that support isn't there, it feels like the world is against you, but that is simply not true. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not missing something fundamental. What's happening is far more subtle and far more empowering. You are being called to develop a strength that most people never discover, because most people never have to walk this path alone. And when no one supports you, that strength becomes your most valuable tool. Think about it for a moment. If you always had encouragement, if everyone around you was constantly cheering you on, would you truly know what it feels like to trust yourself? Would you truly understand the power of your own conviction? No. Support is comforting, but it is not what creates resilience, innovation, or breakthrough. It is in the absence of support that the most powerful growth occurs. Now, let's be gentle with ourselves here. Feeling lonely, rejected, or ignored is human. It is not weakness, it is a natural reaction to your environment. You've been trained, consciously or unconsciously, to expect validation from others, and when it doesn't come, your mind interprets it as failure. That's why it hurts so deeply when your ideas are dismissed, your goals are questioned, or your dreams are met with indifference. But here's the reality, you don't need permission to succeed. You don't need anyone to believe in you for your path to move forward. Your progress depends not on external support, but on the certainty that lives within you. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you can free yourself from the heavy burden of needing everyone else to approve. Take a moment to breathe and reflect. You are capable. You are intelligent. You have ideas, creativity, and potential that are uniquely yours. The fact that others do not support you right now does not diminish any of that. In fact, it highlights an opportunity, a chance to cultivate independence, confidence, and inner authority. It's easy to get discouraged when nobody notices your effort. It's easy to feel small when your surroundings are indifferent. But remember, the world often reacts slowly. Sometimes, it takes time for people to recognize brilliance, for opportunities to align, or for circumstances to shift. Meanwhile, you have the ability to act, to grow, and to move forward, regardless of external approval. Joseph Murphy emphasized that life responds not to the words you speak, or even the efforts you make, but to the certainty behind your thoughts. If you truly believe in yourself, if you hold unwavering faith in your purpose, your progress becomes inevitable. External support is a bonus, but not a necessity. Your inner conviction is your true guiding force. And here's a practical truth to remember: when you rely too heavily on others' support, you give away your power. Every time you look to someone else for validation, you are placing the control of your success outside yourself. But when you learn to trust your own judgment, to honor your own abilities, and to act even in the absence of support, you reclaim that power. That is when real growth begins. It will not always be easy. Loneliness, doubt, and fear may still surface. That's normal. The difference now is that you understand these feelings are signals, not judgments. They are reminders that you are stepping into new territory, where most people never venture. They are proof that you are on a path that requires independence and courage. So, if you are feeling unsupported today, I want you to pause and acknowledge it. Recognize the discomfort, but do not let it define you. Feel it fully, and then shift your focus inward. Ask yourself, what do I believe? What do I know to be true about my abilities? What steps can I take, right now, that don't depend on anyone else? By practicing this, you begin to cultivate a foundation that cannot be shaken by others' opinions. You begin to build a confidence that is not fragile, because it is rooted in your own certainty. You begin to experience the freedom of moving forward without relying on external validation. And eventually, something remarkable happens: you start noticing opportunities that others miss. You start attracting people who resonate with your vision. You start achieving goals that once felt impossible. All because you learned to trust yourself, even when no one else did. Remember this: needing support does not make you weak, but learning to thrive without it makes you unstoppable. You are capable of far more than you realize. Your path is not dependent on anyone's approval. It is dependent on your courage, your belief, and your determination to move forward, one deliberate step at a time. Most people never realize that they are approaching success in the wrong way. They believe that effort alone, persistence, or trying harder is the key to overcoming obstacles. They assume that if they just work long enough, get noticed enough, or persuade enough people to believe in them, the results will come. But this is a common mistake, one that keeps many talented, capable people stuck, frustrated, and exhausted. Here's the truth: effort without alignment doesn't create progress. In fact, it often pushes success further away. You can work tirelessly, follow every piece of advice, and still feel invisible. You can have ideas that are brilliant and well thought out, and yet, people dismiss them. You may even question yourself, wondering if you're doing something wrong. But the problem isn't you, it's the approach most people take without even realizing it. Most people operate under the assumption that validation from others is required. They think, if I can just get my boss to notice me, my friends to support me, or the world to recognize my efforts, then I will succeed. This belief is deeply ingrained because society teaches us to measure worth externally. But life does not respond to external validation. Life responds to certainty, focus, and inner alignment. Let me explain further. When you rely on others to support your progress, you make your success conditional. Your confidence depends on someone else's opinion. Your actions become reactive rather than proactive. Every rejection feels like a setback, every doubt like a failure. And instead of moving forward, you end up oscillating between hope and discouragement. That is why so many people give up on their dreams, not because they lack talent, but because their approach is flawed. The real shift happens when you understand that support is optional, not essential. You do not need approval to move forward. You do not need encouragement to keep taking steps. You do not need anyone to believe in your vision to make it happen. Most people never realize this because they are trained to look outward for direction, rather than inward. Here's an example of the common mistake: someone has a great idea for a business. They pitch it to friends and colleagues first, waiting for validation. When they don't get it, or worse, when they get criticism, they stall, rethink, or abandon the plan. They believe the lack of support signals failure. But in reality, the only thing holding them back is the belief that other people's approval is necessary. Another example is in creative work. Many artists, writers, or creators stop themselves from producing because nobody in their immediate circle understands their vision. They wait for recognition, likes, or praise. But the moment they shift their focus inward, trusting their own intuition, conviction, and alignment, they unlock a flow that is unstoppable. Success comes not because someone validates them, but because they operate from certainty, regardless of external opinion. This reframing is crucial. The problem isn't the lack of support, it's the belief that support is required. Once you recognize that you can move forward without approval, a new sense of freedom emerges. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable now appear as stepping stones. Rejection, indifference, or criticism no longer hold power over your progress. Joseph Murphy's teachings emphasize this principle: life responds to the certainty of your mind, not to the approval of others. If your thoughts, intentions, and actions are aligned with your inner conviction, the external world will eventually conform. The universe does not wait for applause, it responds to alignment and belief. So here's the key takeaway: the struggle you feel, the frustration of moving forward alone, is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to shift your focus from seeking validation externally to building certainty internally. The moment you stop relying on others' support, you reclaim your power. You begin to move with purpose, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. In essence, most people are trapped not by lack of ability or opportunity, but by a misunderstanding of what success truly requires. They try to control the world, persuade others, or wait for permission. But life doesn't work that way. Life works when you align yourself with certainty, act from conviction, and trust the unseen principles that guide progress. By reframing the problem in this way, you are no longer at the mercy of approval or support. You are no longer waiting for circumstances to change. You are free to move forward, to act boldly, and to get ahead even when no one supports you. And that freedom, that inner certainty, is the foundation for every success story you will ever create. Now that we've explored the challenge, the struggle of moving forward without support, and reframed the problem, it's time to introduce the hidden law behind success. This is the principle that most people overlook, but it is the cornerstone of every breakthrough. Joseph Murphy often emphasized a simple yet profound truth: life does not respond to words alone. Life responds to the certainty behind your thoughts. It is not what you say, or even what you attempt to do, that ultimately moves your reality, it is the unwavering belief you carry within yourself. This is the universal law that governs success, progress, and achievement, even in the absence of external support. Most people misunderstand this law. They believe that the more they try to convince others, the more effort they put in, or the louder they assert their ideas, the better their outcomes will be. But effort and persuasion without inner alignment are ineffective. You can pitch, argue, and strive endlessly, and still encounter resistance. Why? Because the universe responds to the power of your inner conviction, not the noise you make externally. This law is simple but profound: certainty creates reality. When you are absolutely certain of your path, your capabilities, and your purpose, the external world eventually aligns to match that certainty. Support from others is helpful, but it is not necessary. Your inner conviction is sufficient to move situations, open doors, and create opportunities that would otherwise remain closed. Consider this principle in everyday life. A young entrepreneur launches a new business while facing skepticism from family and friends. People question the idea, suggest alternatives, or doubt the timing. Most people would falter in this situation, waiting for encouragement or validation. But those who understand and apply this law do not. They act from certainty. They visualize the success they desire, focus on the steps aligned with that vision, and maintain unwavering belief. Over time, the business grows not because others supported it initially, but because the entrepreneur's conviction was unshakable. Joseph Murphy described this law as the law of the subconscious mind. He explained that your subconscious does not distinguish between external opinion and internal certainty. If your thoughts are focused, aligned, and filled with belief, your subconscious moves circumstances to match that mental picture. The law is neutral, it works for anyone, but most fail to use it consciously. They rely on encouragement, external validation, or temporary motivation, rather than cultivating lasting inner certainty. This principle also explains why some people achieve remarkable success in complete isolation. They face rejection, criticism, or skepticism from the world, yet they thrive. Their belief in themselves and the law that governs reality becomes stronger than any obstacle. They do not wait for permission. They do not pause for approval. They simply act with clarity, focus, and unwavering certainty. Understanding this law transforms the way you approach challenges. Resistance, criticism, or lack of support no longer appear as barriers. They are neutral events. The true measure of progress becomes the alignment of your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. If your mind is convinced, if your vision is clear, and if your heart is certain, success is inevitable. Support may come, or it may not, but it is no longer a requirement. Most importantly, this law empowers you to reclaim control. Instead of allowing circumstances or opinions to dictate your actions, you act from your own authority. You make decisions based on certainty, not fear. You move forward confidently, even when the path is unclear, because you understand the universal principle that underlies every achievement. In summary, the hidden law behind getting ahead without support is this: certainty within you is stronger than doubt outside of you. Your inner conviction determines your outcomes more than anyone else's encouragement ever could. External support is a bonus, but not a necessity. Master this principle, and you unlock the ability to move forward with unstoppable momentum, regardless of who stands by your side. Now it's time to bring everything together, the moment where the title becomes real, tangible, and actionable for you. How can you truly get ahead even when no one supports you? The answer lies not in external circumstances, not in who is cheering you on, and not in the validation of others. It lies entirely within your own mind, your inner certainty, and your alignment with the universal law we discussed earlier. Think about this for a moment. If you wait for support, approval, encouragement, or recognition, you are surrendering your power. You are allowing someone else's opinion to dictate your progress. That is why most people remain stuck, watching opportunities pass by, frustrated and exhausted. But when you shift the focus inward, when you realize that the power to succeed exists first in your mind, everything changes. The core revelation is simple: success is created from the inside out, not the outside in. Your ability to get ahead does not depend on anyone else believing in you. It depends on how strongly you believe in yourself. When your thoughts are clear, your intentions focused, and your inner conviction unshakable, the world will eventually adjust to match your certainty. Consider this principle in action. A person without a supportive network wants to start a new career, a business, or a personal project. At first, it feels impossible. The doubts, the indifference, even the discouragement from friends and family weigh heavily. But instead of pausing, they commit to acting with certainty. They visualize the desired outcome, take small but consistent steps, and refuse to be influenced by negative feedback. Over time, doors open that once seemed closed. Opportunities appear. People who initially doubted them begin to notice. All because their internal alignment created an external reality that matched their inner conviction. This is not magic. It is a law, one that Joseph Murphy described as the law of the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not distinguish between internal belief and external reality. When you feed it certainty, focus, and unwavering confidence, it organizes circumstances to bring those intentions to life. The external world becomes a mirror of your internal state. And the remarkable part is this: you do not need anyone's support for this to happen. Support is optional. Belief is essential. Here's another way to see it. Imagine two people with the same idea, the same skill, and the same opportunities. One waits for encouragement and validation, while the other trusts their own vision and acts with certainty. Who will progress faster? Who will overcome obstacles more effectively? The answer is clear. Progress depends on certainty, not support. When you act with unwavering confidence in yourself, resistance becomes temporary, obstacles become lessons, and results become inevitable. The title of this video, How to Get Ahead Even When No One Supports You, is not just motivational advice. It is a principle rooted in psychology, aligned with universal law, and validated by countless success stories throughout history. The support of others may make the journey easier, but it is never the determining factor. What matters is the power of your mind, the clarity of your vision, and the certainty with which you act. Here is the takeaway in practical terms: if you are waiting for someone to approve your next step, you are delaying your own progress. If you are seeking external reassurance before moving forward, you are giving away your power. But when you step into your own authority, when you act with certainty, clarity, and focus, you can move forward no matter who supports you and no matter who doubts you. So, how do you apply this revelation immediately? Begin by cultivating an internal certainty that is stronger than any external opinion. Visualize the outcomes you desire. Affirm your ability to succeed. Take action that aligns with your inner vision, not the expectations or approval of others. Every step you take from this place of conviction brings you closer to your goals. Remember, support is nice, but it is not required. You are capable of achieving your dreams even when the world doubts you. You can move forward, grow, and succeed entirely from the strength of your own belief. The moment you internalize this principle, you stop chasing approval and start creating reality. That is the essence of getting ahead when no one supports you. This is the core revelation: the only support you truly need is the unwavering belief in yourself. When you act with certainty, clarity, and alignment, you become unstoppable. The world may ignore you at first, but in time, it must respond to the power of your inner conviction. And that, above all, is how you get ahead even when no one stands beside you. Now that we've explored the principle, the law of certainty, and the power of acting without needing support, it's time to see it in action. Theory is powerful, but proof is what makes it real. Here are real-life examples of people who got ahead, despite facing skepticism, doubt, or even active resistance from those around them. The first story is about a young woman. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had a dream of starting her own business. She had an idea that she was passionate about, but nobody in her circle supported her. Her friends told her it was too risky. Her family said she wouldn't succeed. Even some mentors were hesitant to encourage her. Most people in her position would have paused, waited for support, or abandoned the idea entirely. Sarah did something different. She decided to act with certainty. She visualized the success she wanted. She made a small plan, took one step at a time, and ignored the doubts around her. She focused on consistent action and maintained unwavering belief in her vision. Within 6 months, her business began attracting clients. Within a year, it became profitable. Today, her company is thriving, and she achieved it all without needing anyone's approval at the start. The key wasn't connections or support, it was her certainty, focus, and persistence. The second story is about Michael, a talented software developer. Michael had an idea for a new app, but when he shared it with colleagues, he was met with skepticism. It won't work, they said. People won't use it. Michael could have stopped. Instead, he trusted his intuition and worked quietly on his project, guided only by his own conviction. He spent nights refining his code and learning new skills. Months later, when he launched the app, it went viral. Users loved it, and investors came knocking. Michael's success didn't depend on approval, it depended on his belief in his own ideas and his willingness to act, even when no one else supported him. The third story involves an artist named Priya. Priya wanted to pursue painting professionally, but her family and friends thought it was impractical. They suggested she find a real job. Priya didn't argue. She didn't try to convince anyone. Instead, she immersed herself in her craft, practiced daily, and trusted her inner guidance. Slowly, she built a portfolio, shared her work online, and entered competitions. Eventually, her paintings were exhibited internationally, and she began selling her work at a premium. Priya's journey shows that support is helpful, but not necessary. When your conviction is strong, opportunities will follow. What all these stories have in common is this: none of these individuals waited for permission. None of them paused for approval. They each acted from a place of certainty and belief in themselves, even when everyone around them doubted or ignored them. And in each case, their inner conviction shaped the external world. Here's the underlying truth these examples reveal: resistance, skepticism, and lack of support are not barriers, they are signals that you are on a unique path. Most people stop when faced with doubt from others, but those who get ahead use it as fuel. They understand that their progress is determined by their inner alignment, not external validation. The law we discussed, the power of certainty and subconscious alignment, was at work in every story. Sarah's business grew because she acted consistently with confidence. Michael's app succeeded because he trusted his own vision. Priya's art flourished because she believed in her own ability, even when no one else did. In each case, support was optional. The real driver was the inner conviction, the certainty, and the deliberate action guided by that certainty. And here's the final proof: these principles work in every area of life: business, creative work, personal growth, education, and even relationships. Whenever you trust yourself and act with certainty, progress happens. It may be gradual at first, but momentum builds, doors open, and people eventually notice. Support may arrive later, or it may not, but it is never required for your success. If you take one lesson from these stories, let it be this: your belief in yourself is your most valuable asset. Cultivate it, nurture it, and act from it daily. The world may doubt you, ignore you, or even oppose you, but your inner conviction is stronger than all of that. Support is a bonus. Action and certainty are essential. Now that we've explored the principle, the law of certainty, and the power of acting without needing support, it's time to see it in action. Theory is powerful, but proof is what makes it real. Here are real-life examples of people who got ahead, despite facing skepticism, doubt, or even active resistance from those around them. The first story is about a young woman. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had a dream of starting her own business. She had an idea that she was passionate about, but nobody in her circle supported her. Her friends told her it was too risky. Her family said she wouldn't succeed. Even some mentors were hesitant to encourage her. Most people in her position would have paused, waited for support, or abandoned the idea entirely. Sarah did something different. She decided to act with certainty. She visualized the success she wanted. She made a small plan, took one step at a time, and ignored the doubts around her. She focused on consistent action and maintained unwavering belief in her vision. Within 6 months, her business began attracting clients. Within a year, it became profitable. Today, her company is thriving, and she achieved it all without needing anyone's approval at the start. The key wasn't connections or support, it was her certainty, focus, and persistence. The second story is about Michael, a talented software developer. Michael had an idea for a new app, but when he shared it with colleagues, he was met with skepticism. It won't work, they said. People won't use it. Michael could have stopped. Instead, he trusted his intuition and worked quietly on his project, guided only by his own conviction. He spent nights refining his code and learning new skills. Months later, when he launched the app, it went viral. Users loved it, and investors came knocking. Michael's success didn't depend on approval, it depended on his belief in his own ideas and his willingness to act, even when no one else supported him. The third story involves an artist named Priya. Priya wanted to pursue painting professionally, but her family and friends thought it was impractical. They suggested she find a real job. Priya didn't argue. She didn't try to convince anyone. Instead, she immersed herself in her craft, practiced daily, and trusted her inner guidance. Slowly, she built a portfolio, shared her work online, and entered competitions. Eventually, her paintings were exhibited internationally, and she began selling her work at a premium. Priya's journey shows that support is helpful, but not necessary. When your conviction is strong, opportunities will follow. What all these stories have in common is this: none of these individuals waited for permission. None of them paused for approval. They each acted from a place of certainty and belief in themselves, even when everyone around them doubted or ignored them. And in each case, their inner conviction shaped the external world. Here's the underlying truth these examples reveal: resistance, skepticism, and lack of support are not barriers, they are signals that you are on a unique path. Most people stop when faced with doubt from others, but those who get ahead use it as fuel. They understand that their progress is determined by their inner alignment, not external validation. The law we discussed, the power of certainty and subconscious alignment, was at work in every story. Sarah's business grew because she acted consistently with confidence. Michael's app succeeded because he trusted his own vision. Priya's art flourished because she believed in her own ability, even when no one else did. In each case, support was optional. The real driver was the inner conviction, the certainty, and the deliberate action guided by that certainty. And here's the final proof: these principles work in every area of life: business, creative work, personal growth, education, and even relationships. Whenever you trust yourself and act with certainty, progress happens. It may be gradual at first, but momentum builds, doors open, and people eventually notice. Support may arrive later, or it may not, but it is never required for your success. If you take one lesson from these stories, let it be this: your belief in yourself is your most valuable asset. Cultivate it, nurture it, and act from it daily. The world may doubt you, ignore you, or even oppose you, but your inner conviction is stronger than all of that. Support is a bonus. Action and certainty are essential. Now that you understand the law, the principle, and have seen proof in real life, it's time to apply it to your own life. Knowing the concept is one thing, but using it is where transformation happens. The first step is to shift your focus inward. Stop looking outward for approval. Stop asking, do they support me? Do they believe in me? Those questions, while natural, give power to others over your progress. Instead, ask yourself, do I believe in myself? Do I trust my vision? Am I committed to taking action regardless of who stands beside me? This is a subtle but profound change. When you focus on your own certainty rather than others' opinions, you reclaim control. Next, practice acting with unwavering conviction. Every day, take at least one step that aligns with your goals, and do it with clarity and calm confidence. This doesn't have to be a massive leap. It could be writing an important email, making a call, completing a project, or dedicating uninterrupted time to your craft. The key is to do it without waiting for encouragement or validation. Your action is powered by your belief, not by applause. Visualization is another powerful tool. Take a few minutes each day to see yourself succeeding, achieving your goals, and moving forward even when no one supports you. Imagine yourself confident, capable, and unstoppable. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and reality. When you repeatedly see yourself acting with certainty, your subconscious aligns circumstances to match that vision. Affirmations also work wonders, but they must be aligned with true conviction. Instead of simply saying, I can do this, feel it deeply: I am capable. I am moving forward. I succeed because I believe in myself. Speak it with calm certainty, not desperation. The power of the words lies not in repetition, but in the certainty behind them. Another step is to reframe resistance and doubt. When people doubt you, when obstacles appear, or when support is absent, do not see it as a signal to stop. See it as a sign that you are on a unique path, one that requires independence and courage. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone, every setback an opportunity to practice certainty and alignment. It's also crucial to celebrate small wins along the way. Progress, even if unseen by others, is real. Recognize your own efforts and give yourself credit for each step forward. This builds momentum, reinforces your certainty, and strengthens your inner authority. Identity is the final piece of this transformation. When you consistently act from certainty, visualize success, and trust yourself, your identity begins to shift. You are no longer someone dependent on others' approval. You are someone who moves forward with authority, clarity, and calm confidence. You become unstoppable because your progress is powered from within, not from external support. Consider how this identity feels. You are no longer waiting for permission. You no longer seek applause or reassurance. You are a self-reliant creator, capable of navigating life's challenges with clarity and certainty. This identity shift is subtle but profound. It changes how you see obstacles, how you respond to doubt, and how you take action. Finally, make this principle a daily practice. Every morning, remind yourself, I am capable. I am aligned. I succeed because I trust myself. Let your actions throughout the day reflect this certainty. Over time, support from others may appear, but it is no longer necessary. You move forward with your own power, and that power is unstoppable. Remember, the support you once thought you needed is optional. The belief in yourself is essential. When you internalize this, every step you take becomes deliberate, confident, and aligned with your vision. You are not here to beg life for permission or validation. You are here to create your reality through inner certainty, focus, and action. By applying these steps, shifting focus inward, acting with conviction, visualizing success, affirming your power, reframing resistance, celebrating progress, and embracing a new identity, you step into a life where support is irrelevant. You are unstoppable. You are capable. You are in control. This is who you become when you truly understand how to get ahead, even when no one supports you. Calm. Confident. Certain. Moving forward with authority. And that, above all, is the power that creates success in every area of life.